Look what just arrived at my house. There's been a lot of hype around these new textured build plates, and inside this package, I've got a few to try out for myself. Let's open this thing up and see what all the hype is really about. All right, so they are nicely packaged. Lots of bubble wrap and tape holding everything nice and secure in there. Seems very safely packaged. Let's dive into this thing. All right, so we've got our first two here. This one just says PEY down here at the bottom. All right, so even inside of this second piece of bubble wrap, so we've got one bubble mailer, another bubble mailer, and then a piece of cardboard keeping everything together in there. So it's packaged super well. Ooh, okay, that's cool. All right, so here's the first one. You can kind of see the sheen or the pattern that we've got on there. That'll be really cool to try out. And then this is the back side, so we can use both sides if we want. And I have no idea, I usually use glue on my build plates, so I'm curious to see if using glue on these affects it in any way. I'll try it both ways and let you guys know. But that's the first one. All right, next. Okay, so here's the next one. It's got gold PEI on one side, and then on the back, I can't really tell what this one is. I think it's like just a glitter. Not as intense as the other two, but still should be pretty neat. All right, and then this package. I don't even remember how many I bought. 3 in this package, so I guess I bought 5. Ooh, okay. This one is really cool. Hopefully you can see the pattern good enough. And then gold PEI on this side, so that's neat. All right, so another rainbow like shimmer sparkle pattern with gold PEI on the back. And then the last one. Ooh, this one's really cool. All right, so this one's got like the circles or the dots on it. And then gold PEI on the back. All right, you guys, now we're down in the print shop. I've got all of the build plates with me that I just opened up. I ordered these specifically for my Bambu Lab P1Ps. So before I started printing anything, I figured it'd be a good idea to bring them all down here and make sure that they actually fit on the build plate. So let's do that now. We'll take these off. This one. It looks like it's gonna be perfect. And it is. So you can kind of see the pattern that we would get on this one. All right, so we'll leave that one there. Wow, this one is really cool. I'm excited to see how that one transfers. Let's get it in place. Wow, that one's gonna be incredible. Ooh, okay, so this one is not as shiny, but it has like this really cool pattern on it, so that I'm really excited about this one. That one looks really cool. Oh, this one's double-sided. I forgot about that. We'll do this side. This one's really cool. That's gonna look really cool. All right, so now that we've got all of the build plates on the printers, let's go upstairs, jump in the computer, and start designing something so that we can see what these look like. We'll start out by running the prints on clean plates. Then if we have any issues, we'll add a thin layer of Elmer's glue, and then we'll go from there. All right, so let's get started with some design. I've already got some freebies that I've been printing that I think would be a cool way to test this out. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull those up and get those running really fast, and then we'll work on some actual designs. I think I wanna reprint my logo face down to see what that would look like. And then I want to try and make a bookmark as well. So I've got 3 things that I want to accomplish with this, but first we'll get the freebies up, send those to the printer, and then start working on some other things. All right, so we'll pull up Illustrator, and I can go ahead and pull up Bambu Slicer because the freebies are already in there. I can kind of just change them a little bit to make them print face down. So this will be a good test to see if these actually stick to the plates. Okay, so I'm only going to print one of these per plate. I'm going to go downstairs, get all 3 multicolor printers loaded so that they can print this, and then I'll be able to show you the results in 20 minutes. That'll be nice, and then we can hopefully get some design stuff going while these are printing. So I'll see you downstairs. All right, so we've got tons of scrap filament that we can use for this, so I'm just going to grab 2 random colors and throw them in the AMS units and then get these things printing. Okay, we're back. I got the filament loaded, and I'm actually going to print 2 of these so that I can see the reverse of each color to see which color pattern looks better. Let's go back to prepare and clone it. Get these far enough apart. For this one, I will make purple, and this one, I will make yellow. Slice them. What happened? Oh yeah, it has to be in this order. Perfect. Okay, so when you are doing multicolor prints like this, face down, you have to make sure that once you have created the assembly, the color that's on the very bottom is the one that will print first. And if you have them reversed like you just saw, the yellow was the only thing that was going to show up because that was on the bottom. It was like pretending the purple wasn't even there. So the order of this definitely matters. Perfect. So 32 minutes, this will be finished. Let's print this. It doesn't really matter what I have in these slots because we're going to get both options regardless. And that was the point of this. So let's send it to P1, P4. Hopefully I have 4 grams of black. I don't know that I do. Okay, so once these are sent, 30 minutes later, we'll be able to see if we need glue or not, and which colors actually look better using these different patterns. Those are running. Now let's get into some actual design, because that part was already done for me. Also gonna send this. All right, because this will be a good test too. These are very swirly pieces. So if I mirror it along the x-axis, now it is face down. And I'm going to slice this and send this one to P1, P1, just to see if it will print without using glue. Design time. What do I want to design? We could find a simple bookmark to do. Okay, Midjourney bot. Here we go. We are looking for some simple patterns because I just really want to test 2 or 3 colors stacked on top of each other just to see what that's going to look like. So let's do imagine. Let's just see what it does if I just do this. This is so basic. A simple pattern tile. See what it comes up with. Okay, so these patterns ended up looking really cool. I think these would look awesome using the patterns of the build plates. I like this one. I think it's really abstract looking. Let me upscale number 4. So file, place. And I saw in the comments that some of you guys were running into issues once you have placed your image. It says that you must embed the image first. That's up here in the top left. You just embed the image and now it's an image that you can work with. So I will object pattern make, okay, and then done, perfect. So now I will grab the bookmark template that I've been using. I will change it to the pattern that I want, and then I will size it so that it fits the pattern. That looks pretty cool, actually. I just want to make sure it's like kind of centered. All right, that's pretty cool. And so then once you have one that you like, you go object, expand. And so now when I move it around, it's not going to keep changing the pattern. So this is something I can use now. I'm going to export this. So I'll select this folder. I want it to be a PNG. Okay, so once that's exported, I'm going to go use Vectorizer AI. And it used to be free, but now it's a paid plan. And you can pay $10 a month to vectorize your images. The reason we need to do this is because we need to separate the colors so that we can print them. Before it was completely free. Now you can use the program for free, but you can't download your images or your vector files unless you pay. So I'll make sure that there is a link in the description if you guys decide to sign up. It is an affiliate link, so I will get a tiny bit of commission from this, but I think it's a really cool program. If you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen that I've been using this for a while. It's great. It's better than Illustrator's trace function. It's wonderful. So now that we're in, we need to drag our image here to begin. Once you upload your image, it's going to go through this process where it just separates it into multiple colors. Done. Okay, so then you can go up here to the top left corner, and this is where you can decide how many colors you want in your design. Why does it add the corners in? It keeps the corners for all of them, unless it's this 5-color one. So I'll keep the 5-color one. Okay, so now we need to download our image. Group by color. I think all of these are good. We'll just test this out and see what it looks like. So now that that's done, we'll come back into Illustrator. I'm going to put this on its own layer. So I'm going to come up here, add a new layer, move this there, and hide everything else that is not important. So we are only dealing with this shape. So I want to, first, I'm going to hold Alt and make a copy so that this is preserved and I'm not messing anything up. Now that it's here, I'm going to ungroup. Let's see what that ungrouped. Okay, that's this one. Before I do that, I'm going to need my original size shape back. So I'm going to take a rectangle. If I use the shape builder tool, which is this right here, For me, I have it set to be Shift W as my command. Yours probably is not that. I had to set it to that. But it's the shape builder tool. So what that does is it's going to allow me to click here, and then now I have this that is the perfect shape as the background. It's the same size as all of this. I don't need this rectangle anymore. I have this to use as a background. Now that I've got that, that is probably going to need to be this white color. So I'm going to change it to this color. And so then I'm going to select this color, bring it to the front, center it on the object. Perfect. Now I'll bring this one over, bring it to the front, center it on the object, and then bring this one over, arrange, bring to front. Let's start exporting. So we will export this back piece first. Bookmark back, bookmark teal, bookmark mint, and bookmark orange. So now we will come over to Tinkercad. Okay, so we are in my Tinkercad bookmarks file. And I'm going to import. I'm going to scale them all to be 7%. That's around 200 in length, which is what I want the bookmark length to be. So if I scale them all to 7%, when I import them, then they will all be the exact same size. So now we need to start preparing these to print face down. And I want them to be a total of like 1.2 thick. So this white piece needs to be 1.2 thick. And so then each of these, I want them to be, I don't know, not that thick. 0.4, so it's 2 layers. We can try that. Highlight them all and make them all 0.4. Enter. Done. Let's make sure that they are completely qualitied. I don't think I can use that as a qualitied. I don't even know what form of speech that was, but max out the quality on each of these. And then we can start exporting. Now that they are all exported, we can come back over here. All right, and we will import each of these pieces. Okay, we're gonna make the color of this one teal. This one, we're just gonna make mint, and then this one, it was orange, but I don't like the color of orange that I have, so I'm gonna leave it purple for now. And then this one comes in, and this one, I'm gonna make white for now, but I might change that color later. I think these will actually turn out as pretty cool colors. And we're gonna center everything, so that one is already centered. I'll still have to move some things around, I think. All right, I think that's about as close as we're gonna get. And so then now if I center this one, everything should be on top of each other. So now to be able to print it face down, if this had like fonts or anything on it that it mattered the orientation, I would need to have flipped everything or mirrored it across the x-axis. If you need to do that, right click and you can hit the mirror button along the x-axis, but this is just a simple pattern and it doesn't really matter which way it's oriented, so I'm going to leave it as it is. To be able to print it face down and each color actually print, we need to go over here to the left, hold shift. So what I did is I clicked this piece, held shift and clicked to the top so it highlighted all of them, right click and assemble it. So now it is one model. The way it's going to slice or the way it's going to print is whatever is on this bottom layer starts. So because this is the white on the bottom layer, none of the rest of this would even print. It would only print the white. So this white needs to be moved to the top. And the order of these I don't think actually matters because they're not really stacked, but the white definitely mattered. So now I'm going to slice this, and if we flip it over, you can see that all of my colors are coming through. And hopefully that is how it will print. And if I come over here and go through each of the printing steps just to make sure it's going to turn out okay, you can see that the colors start at 0.2, at 0.4 we're still getting colors, and then because each of those was only 0.4 thick, at that point it changes over to just printing the white all the way through. So I'm going to get this on the printer as soon as one of the freebies is done, and then we'll get started on another cool print. So I'll catch up with you guys in just a little bit. All right, so this one has finished. It does have a little piece right there. I'm not really sure what happened, but let's see if we can just... So it does have the shine, but it did rip off part of the A right here, so that's no good. But the shine works. So we'll try this one again and see if we can get it to stick fully before we add any glue. Alright, so these finished up. And they actually turned out pretty nicely. You can kind of see the shimmer on them. So these turned out pretty cool. These, on the other hand, I ended up having to stop this one, and this one, because the filament wasn't sticking to the plate and it was just causing a really big tangled mess. I'm gonna clean them off and put some alcohol on them, and then use a thin layer of glue and see if that helps anything. I will update you guys very soon. Alright, they all have a thin layer of glue. Let's go upstairs and try these one more time. The glue still didn't work. I ended up with a mess. I had to take this one off the build plate. This one was on this one, so this one back here is still kind of cooking. I still don't think it's going to turn out great because you can even see in the U that it's already messed up, but I'm going to let that one keep going for now. I guess for these two, I'm just going to go ahead and start trying to run the bookmark and see if we can do something besides just mess up these thank yous. This one is set up and ready to go for the mini logo. This one is set up and ready to go for the bookmark. So hopefully one of these will work out and we can actually see what these build plates look like. I don't want to jinx it, but the bookmark is going down pretty clean. The lower acceleration and the lower print speed is helping. The logo still did not work. I had to stop this print again because it ended in a horrible mess, so we'll see if this one turns out okay. Printer number 2 is finished. Let's flip this over. I had to stop it early because it was coming up here on the side. Still a fail. You can see a bit of a shimmer, but the quality is horrible. So detailed things don't work out super well, at least so far. I gotta do some more tinkering, but there's that one, and then this one I didn't even let finish, but if it would have cooperated on this side, this one actually didn't turn out too bad. Oh well, back to the drawing board. So the bookmark is finished, and I think it turned out pretty awesome. You can kind of see the shimmer effect on it. It's like super smooth, kind of like glass or something. The only thing I don't like is that it's not perfect. Like, I definitely could not sell this because you can see like little parts in the white and the mint here, but besides that, the effect on the plate is really cool. So I'm gonna run a few more test prints so that I can get the rest of these as a cool design, but so far I think it's pretty awesome if I can just get things to stick to the plate. Alright, so I'm running another design, and I set the slicer to be the PEI Cool plate, and I'm already getting much better results. Everything is sticking, there's nothing that looks crazy so far, so fingers crossed that this one works. This one's also printing, but it's black and so you really can't see very well, but hopefully I can update once the rest of these colors print. Alright, this one's looking good so far too. Alright, this one's done. It turned out amazing! You can kind of see the shimmer or the pattern of it on there. This is about as good as I think we're gonna get with this one. Very happy with this one. On to the next. Alright, another one, and this one looks so cool too. We're gonna keep going. As you can see here, we had many failed attempts with these textured build plates, but we finally have some success, and I'm ready to show you guys the final results. So for this build plate, got kind of a carbon texture to it. Here's the results that we got for this one. You can see the pattern on the black one really well, and then I was able to get a successful logo. If I tilt it just a little bit, you can kind of see the texture on that one, but overall, I think these turned out really nicely. I also printed a nameplate using this one. You can kind of see the shimmer on it. I think this one definitely turned out really awesome. So I'm excited for that one. Next we have this plate. You can kind of see the shimmer. So these are the two bookmarks that I was able to get successfully printed on this build plate. I think it turned out pretty nice, pretty cool. Next we have the double-sided plate. I really like this side. I like the effect that it gives to the prints. And then on the back, it's got this design. I like both. I'll probably continue to use both, but this is definitely my favorite side just because it's not super intense on the prints, but it still gives a nice effect. So these two bookmarks I printed using that side that I really like. Really cool. We'll probably sell this one in my shop. Here it is again on my mini logos. These turned out amazing. And then I only printed one of the reverse side of that one, but still I think it turned out pretty cool. Okay, the next plate, I really like the sparkle pattern on this one. It's pretty vibrant, pretty intense. It's got a good transfer to the prints. Here are the three bookmarks that I printed using that plate. I really like these sparkles. And I also printed this one on a nameplate. This one comes through really strong. So this is definitely one that I think I'm gonna list in my shop. I'm pretty excited about being able to print nameplates like this. I was worried in the beginning whenever I first started using these plates. I didn't know how user-friendly they were gonna be and whether I would be able to actually print my nameplates face down on them. Nothing was sticking, everything was ending in a goopy mess. So now that I've gotten some successful prints, I have my settings dialed in. I will probably be listing these in my Etsy shop. I'm very excited about that. And so in future videos, hopefully I'll be able to update you guys with how that is going, but that's where we're heading. And the final plate is this sparkle pattern. It has some stars on it. They're pretty subtle, but this actually turned out to be a really cool pattern. Here's the bookmark that I printed using that pattern. You can see the shimmer and the stars in it. I really like how this one turned out. I also was able to get some successful thank yous printed in the end, and this is also on that star pattern. So if I give a little shimmer, you can see these didn't turn out super great. You can see some imperfections in them, but I think these turned out actually really awesome. So I'll probably print more of these and throw these in as some freebies in my packages. All right, so to wrap up this video, I'm gonna show you all the settings that I found that work, and they've been giving me clean prints over and over again. So the first thing that I did was change to the cool plate. Apparently, if you keep it at the textured PEI plate, the auto bed leveling has some issues. So if you change it to the cool plate, that will help. Next, I created a filament. I called it PEY just so I know when I'm printing face down or using these plates, I will go with that filament. So click here and you can edit whatever filaments you've been using. The main thing that I changed was if we're using the cool plate, I changed the initial layer temperature to 50 degrees, and then the other layers I bumped up to 65 degrees just to try and keep it stuck to the plate. A couple prints before I made these changes, they would lay down fine on the initial print, but then as time went on, they started bowing like this, and then eventually peeling off the plate and ruining the prints. So I found that having a lower temperature for the initial layer helps it stick initially, and then a higher temperature keeps it attached to the build plate. Might not work for you, but I found that this is so far what's been working for me. Another thing to help with the prints bowing, I went to cooling. So my prints are only 1.2 thick, I think, which would end up being 6 layers. So I just made sure that there's no cooling for the first 6 layers. It ends up being the entire print. And I turned the auxiliary part cooling fan, I put it at 0%. I also turned this off, keep fan always on, that's off. I don't want there to be any cooling because I think that was part of the issue causing the prints to warp and come off of the plate. So no cooling at all, it prints completely without cooling. That's pretty much it for the filament. So if you change anything, make sure you save it as your own filament, so anytime you use these plates you can jump back to these settings. And then I also created a profile that I called PEY, and I changed some speed settings. So I have my initial layer 50 millimeters per second and the infill 85 millimeters per second. And then I changed some acceleration settings. So the initial layer I have to 100 millimeters per second, and the top surface I have at 400 millimeters per second. The top surface may not be super important that you change. I just did it because that's where I was having a lot of my issues, but that was before I figured out the cooling. So you may not need to change the acceleration for top surface, but the initial layer 100 has been working for me, so that's what I've got it set at. I also added a skirt. I have 2 loops for my skirt. I was just trying to keep the print maybe on the print bed a little longer. I don't know that it's even doing anything, but those are the things that I changed for the PEY. And that's pretty much it. That's the settings I've been using. Hopefully that was helpful to see a real-time project using these PEY textured build plates. If you guys have any other cool ideas for ways that I can use these build plates, let me know in the comments. There's also a link in the description in case you guys like them and want to try them out. That's all for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.